Hello, I'm Hunter, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to set up a Pokemon catch game that viewers can play during your YouTube live streams. Here are a couple examples of what it looks like. Forgot. Okay, there we go. Let's try it one more time so I can see it. The Lidl. On this. What? Let's go. Let's go. For this game, all of the animations and sounds are set up in OBS and they are controlled in Streamerbot. If you want to set up this game on your YouTube live streams, then please follow the step-by-step instructions on the Streamerbot wiki page. The link for that is in the description of the video. Okay, now we're going to run through the installation process of the Pokemon Catch game. Very first thing you need to do is make sure that your OBS has the source copy plugin and the move transition plugin. If you need these plugins, you just can find these on the OBS forums and you just install the plugin in OBS. There are plenty of videos out there on how to do that, so I won't go over that. Then you need to import the OBS scene collection that matches your base canvas resolution. So in this example, we're going to use 1080p. If your base canvas is 1440p, you'll want to use that one. But we're going to download this one. That just goes right into your downloads folder. And in order to import that, you're going to go down to OBS. Go up to your tools, and this is after you've installed the source copy plugin. Source copy, load scene. In here, we're going to go to our downloads. We're going to find that scene collection that we just downloaded. We hit open. And now you can see down here, we have some scenes in our OBS. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to download the other files. There's a handful of these. The first ones are going to be the ones from Beacon. I'm going to open that up. And over in the downloads here, under other files, we're going to get the Pokemon Cries and the Sugimori art. Now this will take a moment to download, so feel free to pause right here if you need. Once that's finished downloading, then you're going to want to go into your downloads folder and find the .tar.gz files that you just downloaded. Now this is kind of weird. I had to get 7-zip and unzip them first and then extract them. It's kind of weird, but if I go here to show more options and then 7-zip, extract files, and then I just leave this here, I click OK, you'll see it's going to extract them. We get this folder here, and then from here, you can go ahead and go to 7-zip and extract here. And then it will open the files. So you can do that with both of these in your downloads folder. So the Sugimori and then the Pokemon Cries, we're going to do the same thing. 7-zip extract files like this. Click OK. And then you see it gets this folder. Then in here, we go to 7-zip again and extract here. Once you have those, you're going to want to create a folder that you can reference later. In my case, I created one called Pokemon Test 2. So we're just going to, this Cries folder, you see if we open this, it's going to have all these OGGs. Cut or copy, whatever you want to do, and paste into our folder here all of the sound files. These are the Pokemon Cries. Then we're going to go back into downloads. We're going to get the Sugimori files, Pokemon Sugimori. And in this one is going to be all of the PNGs. So get this Sugimori file. I'm going to copy it. Or I guess, or cut, whatever you want to do. Paste it in here. And then you're good for that one for now. In the Sugimori art folder, you want to make sure you make the changes to these images. The 201 file, you're going to want to delete that one, and you're going to want to take the 201-F and change that one to 201.png. Same thing with 386. You're going to want to choose your style of your choice of Deoxys and change that to just 386 PNG right here. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to Sugimori. We're going to find 201. It actually is at the top here. Going to delete that one. And we're going to do 386 while we're at it. Those are just broken. I don't know why. I have no idea. We're going to find 201 F. And we're going to rename it to just 201.png. And then we're going to find 386. That's going to be, well, the 386 different versions here. You see how it has these different attack and defense versions. I'm going to just choose the normal version, and I'm going to change that one. Since I deleted the 386 PNG, just change it to 386. Those are the only changes you need to make there. Next, you go to this zip file, and you're going to see that it's got these 3 folders in it. We're going to download that. Shouldn't take too long to download. We're going to see it in our folder. Let's go ahead and extract all. And we're going to extract that into our same Pokemon Test 2 folder that we had before. So whatever folder you chose at the beginning, we're going to extract all those there. And once those are extracted, then you're going to have catch chants, cries, sound effects, Sugimori, and text names. Those are the folders that you have that you'll need. The last file thing we're going to do is we're going to get an image of a Pokeball. You can use this one, I guess, if you like, or you can choose a different one. We're going to save the image as in the Pokemon Test 2 Sugimori. We're going to save it as 0.png. Yep, we're good. So save. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just realized I paused for a second and didn't hit record. So we're going to go back. So once you download that, you're going to go into this Pokeball image. You'll see I have it here. I had it there before because the file location was already on my PC. But you're just going to go into the Pokeball image here and go to Browse. And you're going to find in your new folder, you're going to find that 0.png, open, click OK, and then just make sure that it's pretty square in there and in the center. You should be good. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do is create the Pokemon run timer and the Pokemon catch game appear timer. Now, I just created these just a minute ago because I forgot to hit the record button, but you just go into here and in settings and then timed actions, you're going to hit add, and for each of these timers you're going to type in Pokemon run timer. For that one you do 40 seconds and uncheck enabled and hit OK. We already did that for that one, and this one too. This one's going to be the Pokecatch game appear timer. I put 150 for the recommended interval, but you can even do a random interval and add like 720 to the maximum amount if you want. Just make sure that that one's enabled is unchecked as well. Then you're going to get the Pokemon Catch Game Streamerbot code. You download that and you're going to import it. And I'll show you here, even though I've already imported it, you get from your downloads folder. You're going to drag it over, drop it in, and you should see 39 actions and 13 commands. When you import it, it is going to ask you if there's 2 commands that you may ask you that you're going to overwrite, and that is just the YouTube points commands of checking for points. If you don't want to do any of that, or you don't have points or use that, then you can disable the commands catch my Pokemon and catch Pokemon in the commands, or just delete them, whatever you want to do. But if you want to use them, you can import that code through the other extension and use that, and it should be good to go. It's not required. You can just have random Pokemon appear, but it is interesting to kind of have them redeem it. The configuration now for the timers, there's going to be 2 actions that are called timed actions that we're going to update the triggers for. And again, I did this a minute ago because I didn't realize I was not recording, but over here, you're going to see this timed action, and this is going to say does not exist. And so you're going to update this one, the Pokecatch run away timer, to Pokemon run timer. Click OK. And then on this other one, 3 timed action, Pokemon catch appeared. Go up to here, double click it, and it won't have anything selected here, but you go in and select Pokecatch game appear timer. I apologize for that I wasn't recording. Hopefully that's still helpful. Then in the file locations, we are going to update our file locations. In the screenshot you see here, I just have Pokemon test, and what I'm going to do is update this action 1 prerequisite action set global Poke file pass. What I did is updated this to match the folder of Pokedex 2 in the same location, everything like that. When you put this in, you're probably going to have a different drive letter, maybe different name, location, stuff like that. Just make sure that it matches exactly the folders that we have, the location of these folders that we have here that we downloaded in this video of Pokemon Test 2, whatever you called yours. Just make sure that those match. If it doesn't, or you do a typo or something, you'll have kind of an error. So once you update those, in order to check and see if it's working, you go up to the triggers, you right click, hit test trigger, and you'll hear the Pokemon catch sound, and then you'll hear the cry, and you'll see this message here. And if it looks like that, then you did it correctly. Next, we're going to assign timers in the sub actions. So in each of these 5 background timer states, we're going to go in and select the timer. So we have 5 background timer disable Pokecatch appear. So let's find our background timer right here. And this timer, because Streamerbot doesn't import timers, we're going to have to go here, and we're going to get the Pokecatch game appear timer. And it's already set to disabled, so that's great. We're going to click OK. Next one, disable Pokemon run timer. This one's already set to disabled as well. You just need to select Pokemon run timer. Click OK. And in this one, it's the enable Pokecatch game appear timer. Pokecatch game appear timer enabled, and click OK. Then on the enable Pokemon run timer, double click in here, Pokemon run timer, it's going to already be enabled, and you just click OK. And we're good and done with that. Now the Pokedex setup. By default, just out of the box, a message will just be sent in YouTube, and that's it. You have a couple of options here. You can do a Discord webhook where the users can have their Pokedex sent to a Discord channel and show their Pokedex and their completion and everything like that. And it'll save that screenshot in there. In order to do that, then you just update the webhook name and the webhook address. So if we go into our Pokedex action command, I guess, here, show Pokedex Gen 1, you will go here, click enabled on the webhook, and then you're going to put in your URL. You can update the name if you want, but I would leave the rest of the stuff the same, and it should work just fine. If you want to update a couple of things here, but I would leave the variables just to be safe. The main thing you're going to update is the name and the webhook URL, and you'll want to do that for all 3, Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3 if you want that to work. You can also have that Pokedex scene appearing in OBS if you want to do that instead and not have the webhook. And so in order to do that, you would not enable this webhook, you would enable this source visibility state. So go here to enabled and go here to enabled. What that will do is show this Pokedex scene as an overlay in here. So now you see this is showing here, but if we go to the catch that Pokemon, which is the main scene, all 3 of these scenes are not visible. So what it'll do is it will make this visible, and so that it can show when you're on stream. And then just as a quick note, the OBS audio is set to monitor only. So if you want to change that, go into your OBS settings, you can change that. Then Gen 1 through 3 settings, if you want to have different generations, by default, it goes all 3 generations. You can go into the random number here on these sub actions, and you can change the number on those, and on the maximum and minimum here on the background action check Pokemon range limit. You can also change the difficulty settings if you need. If you feel like it's too easy or too difficult to catch, you go into the execute code, determine if Pokemon was caught, and you change the number there. We'll show you that really quick just because it could be a little bit tricky. So the Pokecatch action in the section 5, and you find the one that says determines if Pokemon was caught. right here, determines if Pokemon was caught. Double click there. And in the code, you can change this 160. You can change it to a lower number if you want it to be a little bit easier, or a higher number if you want it to be harder. All right, now we're just gonna go over the commands really quick and what they do. This list is pretty descriptive and it should help you if you need to reference it. But when a Pokemon appears, the users can use catch or catch to catch the Pokemon. Pretty straightforward. We put in catch to because sometimes YouTube will see it as spam or something and it won't come through. Catch Pokemon is a redeem action. So that's for someone to be able to catch their random Pokemon that they want. And then catch my Pokemon is when a user wants to catch a specific Pokemon using the Pokedex number. So an example right here is !catch my Pokemon 1. That would make Bulbasaur appear. By default, the numbers will work 1 through 386, but if you change that in the previous step, then it's good to go. The Pokedex actions, we went over that, how those work, and it's just Pokedex for Gen 1, Pokedex 2 for Gen 2, and then Pokedex 3 for Gen 3. We have Poke Party. This command will show a user's 6-slot Pokemon party on screen. This is just from the Poke Party scene in OBS. You can see this, it doesn't show anything here, but if we go to our filters and then we go to Pokedex Fade In, just what it's called, and you can see it fades in and it's kind of like an overlay there. And that's all triggered through Streamerbot. Now the slot command is a little bit tricky. This is the last command that we're going to go over. Once a user has a Pokemon caught, so like for example, if they have Oddish, then they can assign Oddish to their slot by using slot 1 and then Oddish's Pokedex number. Another example we have right here is if a user has Mewtwo and they want to assign Mewtwo to slot 4, then they would use command !slot 4 150. That is Mewtwo's number, and so then it would be assigned to slot 4. If they wanted it in slot 2 instead, then they'd use slot 2 space 150. That's how you assign it to the slots. They can only have one Pokemon per slot. Then there's a couple manual actions just in case people need. If someone caught a Pokemon or some weird glitch, something happened, I don't know. We have the option that when you want, you can manually assign a Pokemon to that user. You just want to make sure that you go in to the viewer, click on them, get their user ID, and copy it. Copy the whole thing. You go into your actions, and in the manual action, manually assign caught Pokemon, you run the test trigger on here. You will paste the ID in there, and then you will put the number in the second window, click OK, and it will give you a confirmation that the number has been assigned to that user. And then you can always check it in the global variables here. The last one is that we have a transfer Pokeslot numbers for anybody that used the very old system. This one's pretty simple. You just go into Streamerbot and the manual action transfer slot numbers to new slots. You go ahead and click test and test trigger, and it should just take care of everything. Once you do that, you might want to just delete it or just make sure you don't use it again, because then it will always overwrite using the old record and overwrite onto the new record. It does not go and update the old records. The very last thing I forgot to mention was that once you have everything set up, then you'll want to add catch that Pokemon, the scene, to whatever scenes you want as an overlay. So for example, I'm going to hit the plus here. I'm going to say just chatting as a new scene. And let's say that this just chatting scene is my main scene. I have all my other overlays, everything set up. Then what I want to do is in this just chatting scene, in my sources here, I want to add a scene. And then I'm going to go up here and choose catch that Pokemon. And now whatever else is in that scene will show up, but you'll have that catch that Pokemon scene ready for whenever the Poke Party it fades in or whatever you need. It will be in there. Even though you're on the just chatting scene, it will show up. If you followed all the instructions on the wiki page very carefully, then you should be ready to implement this Pokemon catch game on your next YouTube live stream. Now, sometimes I get the question from viewers, hey, can we take the Pokemon we caught and battle each other? And have I got news for you. Nintendo, over the years, has been releasing Pokemon games where you can catch Pokemon and you can battle them with other trainers. All you have to do is take your Game Boy Advance player, stick the game in, and then hook up your GameCube to your TV. If you guys want to see this stream game in action, you can join one of our live streams. We usually stream late on Fridays and Saturdays. And so feel free to subscribe so you can get notified of when we go live. If you have any questions, I usually hang out in the YouTube support channel of the Streamerbot Discord. So feel free to join that Discord. I've put the link down in the description below. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Peace.